Equin, sir.
Please come.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir.
Please take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Preetam Kumar, electrical engineer.
Yes, sir.
How will electrical engineering be useful in administration if you become an IAS officer?
Sir, I see direct and indirect use of electrical engineering in the administration. Directly, the government is pushing for renewable energies, electrical vehicles, etc. So there it can be
Very
used.
good, very good. What is our present generation of nuclear power and what is the target?
Sir, present generation is 6.8 gigawatts and we are aiming it to be around 22 gigawatts.
What were the impediments or what are the impediments? Why have we not been able to meet our targets and going slow in nuclear power?
Sir, firstly, there are safety concerns that the government has to keep in mind while moving
Anything
forward.
else more systemic? The shortage of something?
So the fissile material, which is uranium 235 and 233. So we have to be import and dependent.
What did India do to overcome this problem?
So we signed the civil nuclear deal with the US that has helped us to sign agreements with other countries also in providing uranium to us, like Kazakhstan, Canada, etc. has been providing uranium to us.
Very good. Now tell us that if you become an administrator, as an administrator or of a district, which could be your biggest, if you suppose you become district magistrate of Sikar, what will be your biggest challenges there?
So Sikar mainly struggles with the low industrial development.
Okay.
So focusing on that. Secondly, sir, Sikar also has a low development indicator mainly on the gender equality issue. So
how will you address that? Rajasthan generally is known for this gender problem.
Yes, sir.
How will you encourage more gender equality in your district?
Sir, awareness campaigns have to be taken out, like involving the youths mainly. So imbibing the values of equality, especially among the girl child, so that they can stand against child marriages and also force their way into schools. Secondly, sir, the enrollment is good in terms of education, but ensuring their attendance should also be a priority. Just enrollment can't do enough. So
what is CAA?
So Citizenship Amendment Act?
There was some controversy regarding it. What was the controversy?
Sir, mainly it calls for the faster citizenship for 6 religions from three of our neighboring countries. So there were issues regarding leaving out Muslims mainly from its purview.
Was the government justified in having that exclusion in your view?
So I believe if initially it was good, but going forward we can include more minorities among the Muslims also, like the Ahmadiyas or other minorities who are being persecuted in these.
How does CAA impact Rajasthan itself? Is there some issue related to that in Rajasthan?
Sir, there are refugees in the.
What would be the number? Refugees from Pakistan?
Sir, I'm not aware of the number, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Preetam?
Yes.
You are from Roper IIT and you have been playing football, volleyball, right?
Yes, sir.
Watching and all that. Why we are not so good in sports? We are not being able to participate in FIFA, right? Football. We are not so good in athletics, unable to get any medal in this. Why it's so?
So there can be many reasons attributed to this, like the sport culture that should be inculcated among the citizens itself is lacking. Like parents say to their children, padhoge likhoge to banoge nawab.
It's like a part-time avocation, right?
Yes,
Not
sir,
a
it is
full-time
not
profession.
encouraged for as a profession or for income source. So that has been lacking.
So that is one is culture.
Yes, sir.
Second,
Second, sir, India is a developing country, and the poverty issue pushed many of aspiring players due to
but
lack of
many African countries are very good in sports.
So they have been doing good in athletics in few of the African countries, but for India it is one of the many reasons. It is also for Africa, but some athletes have managed to overcome that in Africa. So that is one aspect, sir.
Only two things. Okay, you are from Rajasthan.
Yes.
The Chief Minister of Rajasthan said few days ago that we are going to go for a old pension scheme,
Yes.
right? How do you see this kind of trend? You have achieved 2004 the new pension schemes. Now the Chief Minister, that was again the Congress government at that time, the central. Now the Chief Minister from the same political party is saying that we want to go back to the old pension schemes. How do you see this? What are the pros and cons of this?
So the pros being, say, it will be beneficial to the government employees in getting social security after their retirement. But sir, this scheme is untenable in terms of economic feasibility. So I would say, sir, the government should have been more cautious on this and found out other measures for ensuring social security rather than going back to the old pension schemes. Sir.
Okay. Lateral entry, what are your views?
So I support lateral entry. The government has been advocating for experts as well as the vacancies at the senior levels that the central government has been facing due to low deputation from the states. So to overcome that also, but I believe the process and the recruitment method should be transparent. So in that.
Okay. What are the main indicators of Indian economy?
Sir, we have the fiscal deficit.
What number is this?
So 9.5% was
Okay,
earlier.
fiscal deficit is one then.
So we have current account deficit.
What is that?
It number or sir the definition? Sir, I don't recall the exact number.
Okay, current account deficit. Third,
Sir, we have unemployment.
what is that unemployment rate?
So that has been changing, but the last NSSO survey pegged it at around 6%.
6% unemployment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Okay. Third is unemployment. What is the fourth one?
So we have inflation.
Okay. What is that percent?
So the recently released CPI data puts it at 6.3%, sir. I'm getting a
Inflation
blur
is
on
only one kind, or there are two ways of doing it?
So,
Calculating inflations.
so we have CPI as well as WPI
Okay.
in that
That
regard.
is fourth. And the fifth one?
So we have
Okay.
private investment also.
Okay. How do you see we can improve the unemployment rate in the country?
So going forward, we will have to mainly focus on the manufacturing sector that has the potential to absorb the unskilled and semi-skilled labor from the agriculture sector. So for that, we have to improve on ease of doing business parameters. So
How much the manufacturing is contributing to the economy?
So it is around 16 to 17%, sir.
Okay. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Preetam.
Yes, sir.
Who discovered zero? You're mathematics
Yes, sir.
expert, also qualified. UPSC is a great achievement
Thank you, sir.
with maths. I really congratulate you. But you tell me who discovered zero and other numerals, 1, 2, 3 like this? Any idea?
Sir, Exact pinpointing of the discovery of zero cannot be made, because
Okay, you
Aryabhatta
tell.
is considered, but he did not discover zero. He basically gave the notation for it.
So, any two, three top mathematicians of the country and their contribution may be old or new?
So we have Srinivas Ramanujan. His contribution has been in the infinite series, elliptic function, etc., and that they have been used found application in the recent advances, like in the black holes as well as the string theory that is being worked upon. So that is one, sir. Secondly, sir, Aryabhatta from ancient time, he gave the sine function as well as the circumference of earth, and sir, third I would say Brahmagupta, sir.
Okay, three sufficient. Okay. If you become the power secretary of Rajasthan state and then asked by the chief minister to explore the possibility of solar energy, nuclear energy, and wind energy. So, which one you will support with some, your discussion or some, argument? Which one would be your first preference according to the situation in your whole Rajasthan? Viability should be there. It should be cost effective also.
Yes, sir. So Rajasthan has good potential for both the solar and wind. And going forward with the challenges of the integration of renewables with the grid due to their variability, the going forward model would be the hybrid of both solar and wind, so that we can maintain consistency.
So when you go for the solar energy, the idea should be that there should be full moon most of the time and most of the months of the year. So can you tell us how many months in a year you have full moon, long summers,
So
from
for
where to
moon
where?
or sun?
Sorry, the sun, solar energy.
Sure, sir. So Rajasthan is claimed to have more than 330 around 330 sunny days in the year, in a year. So that is a very high number, and the mostly the cloudy weather is during the monsoon, and during that we also have good wind speed. So in that time we can manage by compensating it with the wind energy. So
But nuclear energy is very efficient and very cheap source of, energy or electricity. I can tell you. So, what are the hurdles the state is facing? Rather, the India is facing not promoting nuclear energy. Rajasthan is a whole country. Where are the problems lying?
So one is our import dependence on the raw material, uranium.
Hmm.
We haven't been able to go to the second or third stage where we would be able to use the thorium. So that is one, sir. Secondly, sir, it is also cost intensive. The installation initially is highly cost intensive. Uh, and third, sir, I would say the uh, technology, that we have been mostly dependent on outside nations like Russia, USA, France, etc. for many of our reactors. So indigenization and building more on that could lead to be more efficient, or I would say economic, going forward.
Okay, what is this NATO? NATO with reference to, Russian Ukraine war.
So NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is an alliance of the Western nation, America, and many of its European partners. So it is a security alliance.
So why Russia is not allowing to Ukraine to join this NATO? What interest Russia has in Ukraine? Well, that is the main one of the problems.
So one is Russia has already occupied Crimea, and if NATO takes Ukraine into it, so the going forward there could be problems regarding this area also, because Russia uses for warm water basically. Secondly, sir, Ukraine shares border with Russia, so the missile deployments of NATO nations can be there, and which would reach in minutes to the major cities of Russia. So that is, sir.
Okay, my last question. If you become, suppose, IAS officer DM of Sikar district, and every day you are getting mob, people are coming and shouting in front of your office and disturbing your functioning, and they say that SHO is troubling them and asking money every day through constable or through head constable. So what type of action you will take? Because there is a SSP is also there, but as a DM, what is your role? What role you can play?
So I'm not exactly aware of the function, so forgive me for if I overreach the functions. But sir, as DM, as the public has grievance with regard to the SHO, so they should be assured that impartial inquiry would be conducted against their grievances, and if the outcome is true, then suitable action should be taken against the SHO. And secondly, sir, the mob should also be made aware of the law, that what they are doing, creating ruckus. If it is peaceful, it's okay, but if they are creating violent situation, then action can be taken against them. So we will have to deal on both fronts, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Preetam, in your DAF, you mentioned some festival by the name of Zeitgeist.
We used to call it a zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist, ये क्या चीज़ है?
Sir, it is a German name for festive activities. So the college had adopted the cultural fest name as this.
Okay, but why a particularly German term was used for anything? It has you got guests from Germany or something? No.
No, sir, it was in prevalence before I entered college, so I did not.
Okay, you said you're also fond of watching documentaries on big cats.
Yes, sir.
Indian big cats की कौन सी documentary देखी आपने?
Sir, I have watched documentaries in the Ranthambore that was earlier shooted on tigress. So
Tiger Queen.
yes, I'm forgetting her name. Machli, I think.
Machli.
Yes,
Who
sir.
had made the documentary?
Sorry, sir, I do not recall that.
What is the name Satra? Was this name also used in that documentary? Satra?
It was a long time ago, sir. I do not recall
Okay.
the exact details.
What was unique about Machli?
So she had lived long in the national park.
How
as
many
well as,
how many years? Documentary says she lived for.
Sorry, sir. I'm
Okay,
not-
then what else?
She was a good hunter of fishes also, so she got the name Machli.
Yes. And then how many generations of tigers did she spawn?
Yes, sir. That's one more reason.
Huh.
But I do not recall the number, sir.
Did you get the name of the director? No.
Sorry, sir.
Have you heard the name Nalla Muthu?
I did not, sir.
And
But
this was done for BBC.
you, sir. I will
Nalla
go and
Muthu
read
had
more
made
on
it
it,
for BBC. Yes. Okay. You also mentioned about the string theory.
yes, sir.
What is string theory?
Sir, I just know the basics. In our efforts to explain or propose a theory of everything that can complete the standard model of particle physics that is currently not able to unite gravity with other fundamental forces. So, string theory is aiming to achieve that, sir.
Okay. What is the basic assumption in the string theory?
Sir, it proposes that at a very minute level or at the fundamental level, all the particles, atoms, etc., are made of string which vibrate in different frequencies. So the different frequencies gives us different atoms, molecules, etc.
Very good, very good. Now tell me, which are the 4 fundamental forces of nature?
Sir, we have electromagnetic forces, gravitational force, weak nuclear force, and strong nuclear force.
Very good. Have they been able to combine all these?
So we are still not able to discover the graviton that is the boson for gravity. So that is lacking in this.
But they have discovered gravitational waves.
Yes, sir. It has been discovered in around 2014. Sir.
How has this been done?
I'm sorry, sir. I do not know.
You have heard of the LIGO experiment?
I vaguely recall the name now, sir.
Okay. India is also participating. You have any idea?
Sorry, sir.
इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग में मेरे को बताइए, what is the basic difference between an induction machine and a synchronous machine? Motor. I'm not talking about generator.
Induction motor.
इंडक्शन मोटर और सिंक्रोनस मोटर में क्या फर्क है?
So the synchronous motor move at sync with the frequency, but
Okay.
there is a lag in the
Okay.
induction motor.
That is number one. But main difference क्या है? How are they two different in design and in their field generation?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall at the moment. Thank you, sir.
Preetam,
Yes, sir.
have you seen this new education policy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell me, few important point and how it differ with the earlier policy.
Sir, it has brought many new things to the table, like the multiple entry and exit policy at the graduation level. It also it also extend the purview to the pre-primary education children, which was not earlier. So that is true, sir. Thirdly, sir, it proposes a national research foundation to promote research R&D in India.
Tell me about engineering. Suppose there is an engineering student. How he or she will be, benefited or affected by this new policy? Is it possible that any time you exit or any time you are an engineer? So from your point of view, what do you say?
So it has not been implemented, so the details cannot be ascertained as of yet. That if it will be implemented in engineering, and if implemented, then how. So that is lacking. But sir, I believe there would be issues if one leaves engineering in between, because there is a continuity between the subjects throughout that.
There is sequencing and all the, there are so many things.
Yes, sir. So that has to be kept in mind, sir.
There is another policy came at the same time, 2020, that is Science, Technology and Innovation Policy. Have you heard about this Science, Technology and Innovation Policy?
I have heard, but sir, I do not recall the provisions.
Okay, no problem. You are from Rajasthan.
Yes.
So how many national parks you have in Rajasthan?
So we have Sariska, Ranthambore National Park.
So Sariska, there was some problem recently. It was in news.
Sir, there was a wildfire in some part of the forest.
Yes. So why forest fire was not there in Rajasthan earlier?
Sir, the exact cause has not been ascertained. I was looking for it yesterday also, but it has been conjectured that heat waves could be one reason, because this March we have seen very high temperatures. So that could be one of the reasons that the fire started, sir.
Okay. What are the characteristic feature of a desert?
Sir,
About the climate, about vegetation, about what is the significance of desert in ecology?
sir, a desert has very low vegetation, and the vegetation that survives also has adaptation to survive there, like thorns, water in their stem rather than leaves, and slippery leaves. So
What type of roots are there in xerophytes?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't know the technical name.
My last question. That climate change, now you have seen one thing that forest fire was there, and this is also because of the climate change. What other things, you are expecting in Rajasthan in case in coming years?
So we can see the change in the monsoon or the rain that is already scarce. It can even go scarer, and variability can be there, like
In fact, in Rajasthan, rainfall is increasing.
So it will
All
be
India basis,
uneven.
uneven.
Uneven. So we will get a longer period of no rain, then we will get intense rain that can lead to floods, etc. So it will reduce the certainty regarding cropping patterns, etc. So farmers will also be affected by that, sir.
Badmer, there was 2006, there was flooding in Badmer.
Yes, sir. I
You
recall
have
that.
experienced that.
I remember that.
So what was, I mean, people, there was malaria also after that. So there are, multiple disasters actually which are happening because of the climate change.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you very much.